The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, in a press release today, has announced that 22 illegal betting apps have been blocked after a request from the Enforcement Directorate following the ED's much publicized crackdown of the Mahadev book betting app. The Mahadev app scam, which threatens to implicate even the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, has exposed the murky underworld of gambling in India. The rules around online gambling in the country are still a little unclear, and criminals seek to take advantage of these muddled rules to profit from innocent people. Well, is it now time to clean up gambling apps and figure out how will the government go about doing it? That remains the big question, and rather a big challenge also. We'll get some perspective and some solutions also from our guests. Joining us on the show is Mr. Akash Jindal, senior economist. T.S. Ramakrishnan, international affairs expert, also with us on the show. Sumit Peer, political commentator, joins us on the program as well. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, joining us on the show to talk about this as well. Thank you everyone for being a part of this conversation. Mr. Jindal, I'll come to you first. Well, it's very unclear what gambling laws prevail in our country. From a layman's point of view, we all know that gambling isn't a legal deal. If you do indulge in any kind of a gambling, it is of course frowned upon by the law. But how were these gambling apps prevailing for so long, duping people of their hard-earned money, and what were the loopholes that they were managing to plug in to get this far? Because thousands of crores, have been used and gobbled up by some of these applications.
Avinit, thanks for starting with such a nice line. You said a very nice line. The rules are unclear. I think that is the main thing which is there. See, now there are lots and lots of youngsters we have seen in the past 2-3 years which are interested in playing on these gaming apps. There have been controversies, whether it's a game of skill, game of chance. So what I very categorically believe is we should have regulations for this and a regulator for this. Regulations should tell what is allowed, what is not. What is skill gaming? What is chance-based gaming? What is allowed? Up to how much can a youngster put his money? What are the regulations for the promoters? Should there be an escrow account for the money which the promoters have mobilized, the corpus which they have mobilized? What should be the criteria for deciding who would be rewarded? What would be the reward? How much can the percentage of margin which the promoters can keep? What to do with their profit? Whether can they repatriate that money to some foreign country or not? How much is the taxation which they need to give? So I think regulation should be there and a regulator should be there. Had we got a regulator, now this gray area wouldn't be there, that whether a specific act should have been banned 2 years ago, 6 months ago, or now. So I think we need a regulation and regulator which should clarify what are do's and do nots. And again, what we need is KYC, know your customer. We need you are a knowledgeable anchor, even if I have to deposit 100 rupees into a same bank account of mine, I need to have a KYC, know your customer. Even if I have to invest 100 rupees into share market without a KYC, I cannot. So there should be clear-cut regulations, as you have said that youngsters may feel duped. So the youngster should know prior to putting his money whether he's allowed to do so or he's not allowed to do so. Like the game of cricket which everybody is watching, and really you are a much bigger cricket expert than me. Now there's clarity of regulation. What can be termed as an LBW? What is a caught out? What is a 4? What is a 6? I don't know much about cricket, but I see whenever they show replay and it's referred to a match referee, even 15-year-olds, prior to the match referee deciding, they would tell that he would be out or not because they know what the regulation is. So I think there should be clear-cut regulation set out. There should be a regulator. Like in case of a company, there are directors. Now there are clear-cut responsibilities of the directors that they have to ensure that everything is being done legally and all compliances are being done. Similarly, in case of a company, there are officers categorized under particular section of Companies Act. Now those officers, they are bound to follow the regulation, and if they don't follow that regulation, or even if they ignore something wrong happening in the company, they have to inform, otherwise they become officers in default. So here also, in this gaming app, if a gaming app is allowed, then there should be directors, officers, people who should ensure that compliance of regulations take place. And compliance of regulation would only take place if we have regulation in the first place. So what my request to the IT ministry is, and we have Chandrasekhar Saab, who is a very talented minister, and the finance ministry is that there should be comprehensive, detailed regulations on how these can be used, which are allowed, which are disallowed, up to what extent the money can be invested, how the money can be invested, how the profit sharing has to be decided, what sort of rewards have to be decided, what sort of taxation is required, because on taxation also there's a lot of ambiguity, how they need to be taxed. So what sort of taxation should be there, what sort of GST should be applied, what sort of income tax should be there. And ultimately, if we can have a regulator, like in the game of cricket, you have an umpire and a match referee which is above the umpire. So everything is crystal clear that if something is unclear, he is the person who has the final say. So that should be very clear. So that can, I think, ensure the smooth performance of the gaming app activity. And if somebody is doing illegal thing, he can be tracked and he can be penalized. That's what I think is required in the country.
Sumit Peer, how does this even all make sense? A number of these Bollywood celebrities have been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. There was a wedding in Dubai, which cost about 1,000 crores just to, organize. A chief minister, Mr. Baghel, has been implicated in these crimes. How are these syndicates allowed to be run?
Vineet, if I can be direct with you, you know the game better. There's a lot of cricket betting which happens in this country. There are a lot of big people who are involved in this betting, and this betting connections go up to Dubai. So we all know that. This is not a secret which I'm revealing to you. Now, first of all, as per IPC on the Indian Penal Code of the latest acts, any kind form of gambling or betting is illegal in India. So the question is, when you get hundreds of crores of cash are recovered, obviously this is all money. So you're using technology for people to bet, increases betting racket to everybody and anybody. That is why the proceeds of crime are in cash. If it was a legal activity, how can you find 500 crores thing in my wardrobe? There'll be 500 crores maybe in my bank account. I'm giving an example. When 1,000 crores is spent on a marriage in Dubai for one of the owners, one of the founders so-called, and 200 crores is paid on cash. So many Bollywood celebrities were flown in. His entire relatives were flown in the chartered planes. You know what happens? In fact, a lot of people are questioning the game of cricket. A lot of people are losing interest because they know at times it is all stage managed. And if there's a very big India-Pakistan match, the betting can go to billions of dollars across the world. So when this kind of money enters the system becomes murky, system becomes this. I compliment Prime Minister Modi, I compliment the IT ministry, I compliment everybody within this dispensation. They had the courage to do it. Usually, there are 2-3 entities which were not touched before. One was cricket, second was Bollywood, third was journalists. After that, news laundry and all, and what happened to that portal, Karesta. So journalists were taken to task. Bollywood, a lot of people have been questioned, a lot of people are being questioned. A lot of these Bollywood celebrities are avoiding questioning. They are trying to, I'm busy, I'm all there, but how long can they wait? And thirdly, nobody had the courage to touch the cricket. Now, Prime Minister Modi has the courage to touch the cricket, and he's exactly doing what should be done in the interest of the country. We want game to be clean. We want game to be, not to be influenced by people. What happened to Azharuddin? What happened to so many people? What was match fixing all about? So are these some alien terms which I'm telling you right now? When billions of dollars enter a match, we need some things. I'm going to go here and there. You just need 1 or 2 people to toe your line, and that is all it needs. So when we are jumping and when we are crying and when we are, jumping from our seats and our hearts are racing, but you don't know somebody is making a lot of money. So this proceeds of crime in this case is more than 5,000 crores. Sir, around $1 billion. $1 billion ki baat kar raha hu, sir. Around $1 billion is the proceed of crime. I mean, if it's a legal business, why will government ban it? It should be in the bank. Legal betting and all influence the business, they influence the game. Because people develop vested interest. This should be all calmed down, and we don't want any betting in this country. We don't want any gambling in this country. We have startups that are doing a fantastic work. Let them open a startup for food delivery, for, X, Y, Z, aerospace, agriculture, whatever. Why are you starting a so-called illegal startup in this money for, for betting and gambling? What will a country gain by betting and gambling? If somebody wants to gamble, there are casinos and all within the legal province where you can go and gamble a little bit. Imagine we need 5,500 crore, and Mr. Baghel, he has been investigating this for 19 months and he yet did not recommend the government of India, bhaiya ban kar do. When it came out, when that lavish marriage happened, when the people thought 1,000 crores were spent, when a lot of Bollywood celebrities were paid in cash, rokda, paisa, cash. Now ED has summoned them, "Aaja beta, bata, paisa kahan se aaya?" Now this whole thing has hit the fan. And Ranbir Kapoor is saying, I need weeks to come to the ED because मेरे को तैयारी करनी. क्या तैयारी करनी है? If you got the money by check, there is nothing to worry. I did a contract, I got the money in check, I have paid my tax, khatam, nobody will ask you a question. Bollywood stars are charging 100 crores for a movie, 150 crores for a movie, but the money is paid in cash. We all know they pay tax, khatam. But here the money was paid by cash, by some other ways. Was it hawala? Basically, if the money is proceeds of crime, and if you can have a contract with him, if you have a legally binding contract with him, your contract is also seen as, you're also seen to be a partner in proceeds of crime. That is what is happening here. It's a serious business. What is happening here, we need, according to me, is a revolution. Because we don't know what the next match will give you a surprise, honestly. You have to just corrupt one or two people, and it has not happened in India. We have seen a lot of cases in India and world over where people were compromised, have been compromised. When you strike these betting apps, there is no reason for people to get compromised. There are no avenues, there are no benefits, there are no gains for people to get compromised. So I compliment Prime Minister Modi and the government of the day that you have the courage to go against this, go against these cartels. It's just a very important day for India, and whoever has been responsible for this, Bollywood, cricketer, jo bhi hai, call them all, name them all, shame them all, let the world know, let the India know how great these stars are, what is hiding in the back. We need 5,000 crores are not generated by anything. 5,000 crores is a lot of money, Vinny. That is the only point I'm trying to make.
Gautam, where do you stand on this? A number of countries allow gambling. It's a source of income for the state through taxation. It's also an avenue for enterprise and entertainment. We don't have that faculty in our country. It's not legal, and yet when something like this operates, who's to blame?
Well, the case for legalizing gambling, football, cricket, especially international football, Sumit was talking mainly about cricket and Bollywood, but also international football is widespread. There's a lot of gambling going on. Now, if you don't legalize it in India, then it has no choice but to go abroad. And when it goes to a place like Dubai, you have no jurisdiction over it. They don't have taxes in Dubai. There is no law against it. There are some Islamic laws, but Dubai is a liberal place and they don't enforce that. So all of the money, the betting is online in, provenance issues. This is the same thing that happens even in legitimate online purchases, Amazon, Flipkart, because they are located, the servers are located elsewhere. Even Visa, MasterCard, located elsewhere outside of India's reach. As such, you can only do something about it to the extent that it is in India. But if all the data is stored abroad, if all the betting is actually on an online app on a server in Dubai, what are you going to do? You can try and catch the hawala proceeds as they come in, which is what is happening. The other problem with banning these is that they simply change server and bypass all this. And so you're forever playing cops and robbers, trying to catch these people. And so probably the best thing to do is to have legitimate gambling. I don't see why we are squeamish about it. Gambling is something that people insist on doing. It's a lot like prohibition. It doesn't work if you try to stop it. The other issue is, of course, people bankrupting themselves, especially youngsters and people in the middle class who, develop a gambling addiction. And before you know it, they've sold house, home, emptied their bank accounts in this gambling business. So to that extent, there will be victims. There are victims everywhere. But if it is legitimate, then you can track who's gambling, how much is he putting, what happened, and you can also run campaigns to caution people. But if it is abroad, there's little you can, and that is what is going on. This banning is a band-aid. It won't work. Vinny.
It won't work. Mr. Ramakrishnan, what will work? There are illegal gambling avenues, that operate. Everybody plays cards. Everybody gambles during Diwali as well. There is no law against it. People lose lakhs and crores of money in this friendly, gambling and betting environment. But when it comes to state and its policies, where do you think India is lagging behind?
Well, so the public policy framework for gambling or for that matter, betting will always come later than the gambling themselves. So because we have not developed a comprehensive framework on how to handle gambling, because it is natural that public policy framework will come only later, because after understanding the nuances of the business and other things. And first of all, before explaining this gambling, we also have to look at the Supreme Court judgment, which has clearly distinguished between a game of skill and the game of chance or game of gambling. And they have classified some games as game of skill, and then that is what we call it as online gaming, which is not illegal, which is very much permissible, and for which actually the government of the GST directorate has slashed retrospective taxation on them. So that is when you put retrospective taxation on a particular business, that means you are legally permitting that, and you are saying that you are very much accepted in India. And we also have to look at the Supreme Court judgment when it comes to gambling. So the government, at this point of time, although gambling happens offline, online, in so many areas, as you have rightly pointed out, Diwali, cricket, football, elections. Okay, election outcomes, there are many things that people gamble a lot, and by and large, the gambling is done outside the scanner of the government. And say it is basically it's not about permitting gambling or not. Gambling is not the issue. The issue is about the illegal money that is being acquired, and then now it is going to be used for nefarious purposes. That is the problem for the government. For example, these Bollywood stars go there and then dance there and participate there, and then take crores of rupees in cash. And then they come back, and then you look at the kind of earnings that this guy has made in Dubai, and we don't know how he is going to use that money, because this is illegal money. There is no accounting. So how he is going to spend that money for various nefarious purposes and all. And that is the real problem for the country. So having a framework, strong framework, policy framework, clearly distinguishing what is online, what is permissible, what is not permissible is one dimension. Second dimension is implementing it. Implementation is really a very difficult thing, because these all are happening, even if it is happening physically also, it is very difficult to track it, unless otherwise you get a clue. The second point is, it is all happening in online, and then as one of the speakers has told, they can change the server, they can change the name of the game, name of the gambling and other things, and then they can very well enter here again. So this is a right step, but this may not solve the problem forever. So certainly it is a very challenging proposition for the government. They need to really, think about how they want to go about with this gambling and betting apps, as well as online gaming. And a lot of brainstorming needs to be done. And they need to really look at the possible alternatives. What are the alternatives? But at this point of time, I feel that India is has not arrived for gambling, unlike USA. Because if you permit gambling at this point of time, if you permit them as legal, although a lot of illegal gambling has been happening, it is like a liquor policy. Okay, even if you follow prohibition, still there will be liquor. But there is a difference between Gujarat and other states. In Gujarat, liquor is used very rarely, very limitedly, because you need to transport them from other states and then you need to drink. Whereas you take states like Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, it is flowing like anything, and people will be, you can see them on the streets. So, binge drinking, and then they just fall on the roads. You can see on every road. So there is a difference between legally permitting something and then trying to, have a regulatory framework. So India has not arrived enough for this gambling as on today. Let us see how we can proceed in the later years. But as on today, let the illegal gambling happens, and we will try to, the government should try to, follow it up and then take action on that. But I don't think legal gambling can happen in India at present, and that will be catastrophic to the whole thing. But online skill-based gaming is a different ball game. So, poker and...
All right, Sumit wants to come in. Sumit, go ahead.
Vineet, the point I want to make are 2 or 3 points. First of all, when you and me, I can come to your home and we can gamble on Diwali. It might be small money between you and me. So is that your and my gambling going to influence the performance of the Indian team? No. If I go to a casino, it's between me and casino. Is that going to influence the outcome of a match? No. But the reality of life is, if I can be direct, these all gamblings influence people. We have seen cases where people's careers have been destroyed. We have seen where people have come under this influence, and we don't know who is under whose influence even today. We don't know what is happening, because if you have a match of 3 hours and you have $4 billion on the table, it's a lot of money we need. It's a lot of money. I will tell you today, if there's a semi-final between India and Pakistan, the bets will go to $3.5 billion. Now you are telling me $3.5 billion has capability to influence nobody and nobody? No. So the problem is, what are you betting on? I can go to a casino and bet against the casino. Is between me and casino. No third party is implicated. I can go and you and me can, I can win, you can lose. It is between you and me. So the point here is, if you make it legal, it will be a catastrophe. Everybody will want to put the money. You have to close lotteries. You have to close down a lot of shit funds. You have to close a lot of these people, because it's a shortcut entry to become multi-billionaire, and the people will go and sell everything and say doing it. We don't have that demography. We don't have that economy. And if something involves and influences a national pride, can that be allowed? My answer is no, it cannot be allowed. You want to gamble? Go gamble with your friends and relatives. It's okay. Teen patti khelo, no problem. But how come people are spending 1,000 crores we need? 1,000 crores on a marriage is a big money. It's $150 million on a marriage. So what did the government of India get from that? Did you pay the tax? And if you're saying you cannot control the servers, but if you live in India, then I advise all such people to go and live in Dubai also. Then you are an NRI, you're out of the realms of government of India, but you can't live in India, earn in India, get money from India and send it to Dubai. Ye to nahi chalega na. If you are so in love with betting, wherever the server is, go and live there. If the country allows you, have no problem. Take a Dubai passport, which you will never get. But you can still live there and bet as much as you want. We have no problem. If an Indian today is an Indian American, he wants to go and bet in Macau, or as a Chinese, he has a Chinese passport, we have no problem. But you can't be living in India, influencing a national game, earning the money here, duping the people here, sending the money to Dubai, and some people will go do a song and dance and chaya, and they will have hundreds of crores. That is where the problem is. This is a rot in the system which needs to be cleaned. So it's a very good step, and I hope and pray that there will be a complete crackdown on this. It will have pain, it will have blood, but ultimately a lot of people will be liberated. How many murders have we seen happen in Delhi because person could not pay the betting money? Let's look at the implications of the society, Vineet, and if you make it public, bhai phir to Bhagwan hi bachaye, Prabhu Shri Ram kripa kare, phir kuch nahi pata ho. Ji.
All right, Mr. Jindal, we have almost run out of time. Any parting thoughts for this menace and how to streamline it, basically?
Yeah, how to streamline it. I think that's a wonderful question. KYC, know your client. Now, I saw 2 of my learned friends saying that how do we track it? There could be a change in server. The server could be shifted to Dubai. Once you have KYC, know your customer, of the person who is going for this, you can track how much money is being put. Now then you can decide whether it's a skill-based game, whether it's a gambling-based game, it's a chance-based game. So ultimately we'll come to know who's putting the money. So whether the server is in India, in Dubai, you'll be knowing which Indian is putting money. Then we can track that. Then we can also have a limit how much money could be spent. If somebody is putting more money, there could be a taxation on that to demotivate people. Like on liquor, you have higher taxation. So if somebody is going for gambling, then if the government wants to ban it, if the government wants to demotivate people, they could have taxes on people who are going for that. So I think firstly, we should have the data. And for the collection of data, KYC, know your customer, who is playing, how much money is he investing, through which sources is he investing that money. That is very important. We must know that. Then only can a regulation work. The question was, which was my learned friends, the third and fourth speaker said was, how do we track it? The way for tracking is KYC, to track from where the money is coming, how the money is coming, how much money people are investing. That would answer also the query which my friend Sumit Peer put, that if people put crore of money, 2 crore of money, what happens? If we have that this much money is being put, and if the government wants to demotivate a particular type of gaming app, then there could be penal tax that beyond this money, if you put this much money, tax would be imposed on a person who would be using that much money. Or there could be some other penalties also, or at least tracking would be there. We would know how much somebody is investing, how much who is investing, and whether that money can influence something or not. And of course, those people who are promoters of such apps, if these apps are being allowed, they also should be regulated. They also should have to make disclosures where they are getting the money from, where they are investing the money.
The disclosure is absolutely important, Mr. Jindal. You hit the nail on the head.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.